Hey there, YouTube. This is CFL Fanatic. I'm back again for another week, giving you my picks for week 2 in the 2011 CFL season. An interesting week last week. Montreal beat BC, no surprises there. The Argos showed once again what they are best in the league at last week, and that is giving themselves a nice big lead and then finding a way to screw it up. Luckily, they're also getting pretty good at after they dig themselves into the hole, they're getting pretty good at climbing out of it and managing to squeak by with the win. So, not bad, but they've got a little bit of work to do. Some good Canada Day matchups, and overall a pretty good week 1. Some pretty interesting games and some things that were a little bit unexpected this week. So to start off the season, I am 2-2. Chris Schultz is 1-3. That's exactly how we started last year. So 2-2, not bad. I was definitely not expecting that Edmonton win. That came as quite a shock to see a team that was so focused after being so inconsistent and so very, very bad last year. It was very surprising, but good for them. Okay, so before we get to the picks, we talk about the Argos. As you know, they've gotten a little bit screwed in the schedule and they don't have their home opener. So they put out some promos this week, and this was their posters that they put around town, and it reads, as you can see, "Home is where the heart is. It's also where we hurt people." And this was their promo for their July 22nd, I believe it is, their home opener against Winnipeg in week 4. Now, did you catch anything bad about this ad? Neither did I, but somebody did. A councilman from Toronto sent a letter to the Argos suggesting that they remove it because, and here's the best part, because he believes that it is making light of domestic violence. Because of the term, the implication that people are hurting people at home. I have to say, this is about the stupidest thing I have ever heard in my life. The Argos took it down, which I think is dumb. Anybody with 2 brain cells to rub together can clearly see that this is about football. It's about a contact sport, okay? So, the use, the violent terms in it, hurting people, that is what football is. It's a physical game, okay? And I don't think anybody is honestly stupid enough to believe that this is inciting domestic violence or a call for domestic violence. I think that's just ridiculous. Anyways, so other than that, not much news. On to week 2 in the CFL. First up, Friday Night Football. The Toronto Argonauts are in Winnipeg to take on the Blue Bombers. Now, this should be interesting because now the Argos beat Winnipeg in the preseason. That was quite an interesting matchup. Now, Argos and Bombers both had some I like to call them week 1 cobwebs. Had a little bit of struggles, so it'll be interesting to see who can do the better job of shaking it off. Winnipeg with a big win against Hamilton, Toronto with a not so great win against Calgary. But I think that the last time these two teams played, Toronto, it only got close once Cleo Lemon was out of the game. And with Cleo Lemon at the helm, remaining poised, remaining calm, avoiding those turnovers as best as he can, I think I'm going to have to take the Argos on this one. Okay, so on game 2 of the Friday night doubleheader, Calgary taking on BC. Toronto looked relatively mediocre in their home opener, or not their home opener, in their opener, but I think that they were lucky enough to get the win because Calgary, let's face it, aside from the beginning of that fourth quarter was just brutal. Their defense did not do a bad job, but their offense was just unable to generate any momentum whatsoever. BC, on the other hand, lost their game to Montreal, but it was only by 4 points. They made an impressive second half, almost comeback. Travis Lulay looked pretty solid. I think I see a lot of positives from this BC team despite the loss to Montreal. And after seeing how Calgary played in week 1, I think I'm going to have to take BC in this one. Okay, on to Montreal and Saskatchewan. Usually a good matchup when these two teams play. Grey Cup rematch from last year. So Montreal looked pretty dominant, very dominant in that first half against BC. In that second half, not so much. Defense, offense, either way, they really were not able to generate much momentum. Saskatchewan, on the other hand, had a little bit of problems against Edmonton. By that I mean they kind of got flattened there. They got steamrolled. So in front of their home crowd, I would like to say that the Riders will turn things around. The way it's going right now, though, this one could be a toss-up, but I think I'm going to have to take the Owls in this one. But I think that one could be a bit closer than people are expecting. Okay, last game, Hamilton taking on Edmonton. Now, normally I would say Hamilton without a doubt, but definitely after that impressive Edmonton win last week, I have to reassess and rethink this a little bit. So yeah, Hamilton had a bit of struggles on offense in their game. Edmonton, not so much. Hamilton didn't do too badly on defense. Edmonton did a pretty good job of containing the Riders. But overall, Edmonton was just so impressive last week. Now, was that a fluke? Are they for real? I guess we'll find out. But for now, I think I'm going to have to take the Eskimos in this one. All right, so those are my picks in case you missed them. And this has been another week of CFL Fanatic. So we'll see how the games go. I'll see you next week.